Hello, Moons of Jupiter. I'm Elmushterri, that means Jupiter in Arabic. I'm an animation student and a HEMA fencer. A couple people requested a rewrite of Frozen 2, and I feel like that's been in order for a while anyway, since Frozen 2's story was very troubled and also not very good. For my rewrite, I decided to change a couple things that end up changing the theming to actually be cohesive, unlike the real movie, where the themes are extremely confusing and there is no payoff. Like, if you haven't seen it, don't bother unless you want to see a very beautiful movie with very beautiful music, but an unsatisfying story. I'll give you a detailed enough summary because I have comments on the things that happen in the real movie. I wouldn't recommend skipping my summary even if you have seen it, because of those comments and extra understanding of my rewrite and perspectives and such. Underwhelming spoilers included. The real movie begins with baby Elsa and Anna with their mom and dad is telling them the story of the Northuldra forest and the spirits of earth, fire, water, and air. And Elsa asks, were the people of Northuldra magical like me? And the dad is like, no, they weren't magical, but the spirits liked helping them out. And then he tells them about their grandpa / the king's dad, who tried to forge an alliance with the leader of the Northuldra tribe. He even built them a dam to strengthen their waters, quote unquote. But apparently, a completely unprovoked attack happened by the Northuldrans, and the spirits of the forest got mad and trapped everyone in it with a magical fog. But the king, who was a teenager back then, heard this mysterious girl's voice and was saved by an unknown savior before he could be trapped in the forest. And the girls are like, wow, Dad, who saved you? And he's like, I don't know, bye girls, good night. And the queen's like, my mom used to tell me about this special river called Atahalan that knows all the answers. Here's a lullaby about it. And she notably says to the girls, cuddle close, scooch in, and it goes like this. I can't sing it because it's copyrighted, just trust me. Where the north wind meets the sea, there's a river full of memory. Sleep, my darling, safe and sound, for in this river all is found. In her waters deep and true, lay the answers and a path for you. Dive down deep into her sound, but not too far or you'll be drowned. Okay, girls, that was a really ominous lullaby. Good night, sweet dreams. And then the queen leaves. Back to the current day, Queen Elsa and Princess Anna are hanging out in the kingdom when suddenly Elsa hears this voice, who is actually the voice of my favorite singer, Aurora. And then Anna starts singing to Olaf about how some things never change, but ultimately it's completely forgettable. Also, side note, for the subplot, Kristoff is trying to desperately propose to Anna, but is too nervous, and that's kind of a useless subplot for him. I bet they didn't know what to do with him in the movie. Then, later at night, Elsa is disturbed, and Anna comes in and she's like, you're wearing Mom's scarf, you only do that when something's wrong. Wow, movie. Thank you for telling and not showing. Good job. Also, Anna goes to sing the lullaby to Elsa, and she says, in Mama's words, cuddle close, scooch in. Movie. Listen, we heard the mom say cuddle close, scooch in literally 5 minutes ago. You don't have to make Anna say in Mama's words. We're not stupid, and kids aren't that stupid. Anyway, Elsa can't sleep because she keeps hearing that voice, so she starts singing Into the Unknown, which is quite a good song with extremely beautiful visuals. Like, who are you, and what if there's someone out there like me, and I'm not alone? That's the main thing of the song. And then Elsa finishes the song, and she does this big flourish, and sends a bunch of diamonds into the air. These diamonds summon the power of the four spirits. Basically, the tides start going crazy, the winds start going crazy, the fires start going crazy, and the earth gets serious. No, the earth starts going crazy also. So the two queens are like, okay, we gotta evacuate the kingdom. So they evacuate the kingdom to a big hill. I don't know if anyone brought a tent with them, but hopefully they're not gonna freeze up here. Anna asks what happened, and Elsa says, I awakened the spirits of the enchanted forest. How does she know that? They are 20 years removed from their father telling them this bedtime story. How could she possibly know exactly what she did? Anyway, the rock people show up, and the grandpa rock is like, the spirits are angry, and the past is not what it seems. A wrong needs to be righted. Arendelle is in danger. The truth must be found. These rocks, I can't stand these rocks, dude. They rock on up, no pun intended. And just tell Elsa and Anna exactly what they need to do, and exactly what the movie's gonna be about. That is extremely lazy. Okay, so the women travel to the mystical forest at the instruction of the rocks, and Olaf is like, who likes trivia facts? Water has memory. Oh, I bet that's not going to be important later on in the movie. Side note, I usually give characters new looks for the rewrites, but the designers actually nailed Anna and Elsa's outfits. The first movie's outfits were alright, if a bit bright and colorful for the setting, but these outfits are perfect and beautiful. Despite Elsa being fully wintry, she still manages to look autumnal. I only wish they would put Anna in more green like they did in the first movie. Anyway, they get to the magical forest, which has magical fog covering it, but it opens up for Elsa. They see the dam, and Kristoff is like, thank goodness the dam is still there, otherwise Arendelle would be washed away by the water. Come on. They gotta make the characters say everything. Olaf gets lost and walks off on his own and then starts a little useless happy song. The movie could have had more time to establish the story and all that, but no, how about an Olaf song? But then boom, a hurricane happens and Elsa stops it with her ice powers. And when it ends, her ice powers leave behind ice sculptures of her mom when she was younger. And then the wind spirit, who is literally just wind moving around a couple leaves, which is such a lazy design, calms down and starts playing around Elsa and Anna. But whenever the wind spirit is around, it has this beautiful sound cue to it. This movie has excellent sound design, I'll never deny that. Anyway, it draws the girls' attention to a statue of a young Northuldran woman saving their father. But then boom, the tribes people come out of one side of the forest, and the old Arendellian soldiers from like 40 years ago also come out of the other side of the forest. Very convenient that they were both just there. Elsa is like, hey look, I have magic. And then this thing happens where, okay, it's sort of funny, but I feel like it doesn't belong here because it takes longer than it should. Olaf does a funny, oh, you're wondering why we're here? And he summarizes the first movie, and all the forest people are like, what? No, what? Anyway, the Arendelle soldiers assume that the two new royals are here to fight and, you know, finish what they started. And Elsa's like, hey, no, we're not fighting. And then the Northuldrans are like, sorry girl, we only trust nature, and then immediately everything goes up in flames. Elsa chases the flames around, and Anna's like, Elsa, no! But anyway, Elsa finds out that the fire spirit is this cute little lizard. I like that the spirits are all like different things, but I wish it wasn't so marketable toy cute and a bit more spirit, but it calms down in her hands. Anna comes back and Elsa's like, you shouldn't follow me into fire, which is, you know, a completely normal take. And Anna is like, well, you shouldn't. And Anna says this thing that I think the movie writers think is a gotcha moment. She says, if you don't want me to follow you into fire, don't run into fire. Girl, no offense, but Elsa has powers and you don't. Anyway, to comfort herself, Anna wears the mom's scarf, and then all the Northuldrans are like, that scarf has Northuldran patterns on it. So they run back to that statue of the young woman saving their dad, and it's their mom. Whoa. What annoys me about the scarf is that it is a deep pink color, and all the Northuldrans are wearing beige. How on earth does that look like a Northuldran scarf? They really couldn't make it a beige scarf. Would that have been too bad? And so they're hanging out with the people at night by the campfire, and Anna forms this adorable, almost father-daughter bond with the old Lieutenant Matthias, and Elsa forms a cute bond with this girl, Honey Marin, and she says, some people say that there's a fifth spirit that bridges spirits and humanity. But then boom, the earth spirits come out and everyone hides, and the earth spirits, plural for some reason, are giant humanoids. Why? Why do they need to be humanoid, and why are there many of them? How does that work? Are they all the one earth spirit? Like, and by the way, they're never referred to as the earth spirits. They're referred to as the earth giants. What does that mean? Why? Why did you have to, whatever. Anyway, this is so wrong. Okay, Kristoff is with Sven, and they start singing an actual pop song about how he loves Anna. We do not have time for this marriage subplot. A lot of people do like the song, but I just don't know how I would include this in a good movie. Another reason I can't stand this marriage subplot is because it feels like they didn't know what to do with a male character when he doesn't actually need to be there. He's literally now just some boring, clumsy love interest when he didn't used to be.
What's his favorite food?
Sandwiches.
Best friend's name?
Probably.
Not naive, just new to love.
He lost his sure of himself cool personality, which he didn't have to in order to have moments of uncertainty. And also, what an awful time to be thinking of proposal. Hey, we're in a magical forest discovering the truth about your sister who you're very worried about. Will you marry me? Chat, this guy is a loser. Anyway, we cut to Anna and Elsa walking, and Elsa calls back for the voice that isn't calling anymore, and then Olaf starts doing an awful voice to call too. I'm trying to listen to Elsa's gorgeous voice, but this bum keeps yelling. doing? Anyway, they find their parents' old broken down ship, and they're like, wait, why is the ship here? And then boom, they find a map that tells them that their parents were trying to go to Ahtohallan, the magic water library, to find the source of Elsa's powers, which makes Elsa feel really guilty because her parents died trying to understand her. But Anna's like, girl, no, the reason you have powers is because Mother saved a boy who was meant to be her enemy. The forest chose you to unite the people with your magic. You're a gift. Thank you, Anna, for spelling it out. But then Elsa's like, okay, well, I'm going to Ahtohallan alone, and she creates a boat of ice and sends Anna away on it, and Anna's now in a river trying to stop the boat, and Olaf is like, Anna, I'm angry. Elsa sent me away without saying goodbye, and shut up! You guys are currently on a river, not knowing where you're going. This is not the time for a conversation. This movie is always so close to being amazing, and then it goes awful again. But then they have to be quiet, because the earth spirits are sleeping, and okay, whenever the earth spirits show up, there is this gorgeous, ominous sound cue. And then Anna and Olaf accidentally wind up in a cave pit. Elsa, meanwhile, is at the shore of the Dark Sea, and there is this genuinely gripping scene where she keeps trying to run through the sea using her ice magic, but the sea keeps washing her away. But then this water horse appears, and it actually tries drowning her, which is very dark and really cool. She literally has to fight the water spirit until she gets onto it and calms it down. Then it brings her to this glacier thing. She realizes Ahtohallan, the river, froze into a glacier. And also, I'm kind of confused about the status of Ahtohallan. Like, how would it ever have been a river if it's in the middle of the sea? And also, what do you mean the river froze into a glacier? She sings like the most gorgeous song ever, Show Yourself. Honestly, the video of it is on YouTube, go watch it, it's lovely. She goes in, looking around, asking, are you the one I've been waiting for all my life? As the audience, we're assuming she's about to find the fifth spirit, which is why she's calling to someone. She's looking for answers about somebody else. She goes in and she finds a giant chamber of reflective walls. All of them have scenes of her mother playing. She finds out that this voice was her mother, calling for the spirits to help save her father all the way back when the fight broke out. And the song concludes with Elsa saying, I am the one I've been waiting for all of my life. Are you kidding? The answer was herself? Herself what? Answer to what? Waiting to do what? The song Into the Unknown set up the problem that Elsa felt like she didn't belong and that Elsa's powers were growing too strong. How does Show Yourself answer that by saying, you're the one you've been waiting for? What does that mean? That doesn't give her an answer to anything. It looks like a beautiful self-realization scene, but put it into context. Elsa heard a voice, assuming it was someone else alive, and then went to follow it in hopes of finding someone like her. Then at the forest, she was told that there was a fifth spirit. Then Anna tells her you were a gift. Then she finds out it is just her dead mom's voice, and the reason she has powers is just as Anna guessed 10 minutes ago. You can't just tell a person who's hoping there's someone else out there like them, hey, the answer is you. Me what? If she went in asking, is there someone who can unite Northuldra and Arendelle, and the place sang back, it's you, that would make sense, because she is the fifth spirit meant to unite the two places. The song ends, and around her are these animated ice sculptures. They're showing different parts of her life. But then she sees her grandpa, the old king, talking to his soldier, and he says, I don't like these Northuldran people. They use magic, and that means they'll feel more powerful than me, and therefore rebel against the crown. And then he says, the dam we built wasn't for them. It wasn't a gift at all. It'll actually weaken their water, so they'll have to come to me for help. Okay. But then the ice statues disappear into a pit, and Elsa hears the mom's voice say, don't dive too deep or you'll be drowned. But she follows anyway, and she sees the king kill the tribe leader. He was the reason the attack started, because he attacked first. Then boom, Elsa starts freezing to death. Like, what? Okay, yes, she's magic, but Ahtohallan can out-magic her. I have a different proposal for Elsa's death scene, but we'll get to that later. Before she freezes fully, she sends an ice beam to Anna to send a message to her. Anna finds out the truth when the statue of the old king killing the tribe leader manifests, and then Olaf starts melting away, and that's how she realizes Elsa is gone. So Anna is alone in a cave, and she starts singing about grief. She feels two put together to have just found out about the death of her sister. So she realizes she has to break the dam even if it means destroying Arendelle. She runs to the Earth Giants and wakes them up, and they start chasing her to the dam, and then she has them throw rocks at the dam by waving her arms around and getting the soldiers to flash their shiny shields. So they break the dam, and boom, Elsa comes back to life, and the ground breaks under her, and she falls into the sea. But wait a minute, if the spirits knew they didn't like the dam, and they had the power to break the dam, why didn't they break the dam? For 34 entire years? Okay, maybe the spirits are a bit more like animals in that they know that they're mad, but they don't know why? But then, why didn't the forest people figure this out?
The dam isn't strengthening our waters, it's hurting the forest.
You're telling me you have to know the grandpa lore in order to break the dam? Because the dam is broken, a giant wave of water surges towards Arendelle, but Elsa and her water spirit horse throw up a giant wall of ice to save the town. So Elsa and Anna reunite, and Elsa is basically like, so yeah, I'm the fifth spirit and the bridge between humanity and spirits. However, she says, Mother had 2 daughters, and a bridge has 2 sides. No, they don't! The bridge is the bridge! A bridge bridges 2 pre-existing sides. One side of the bridge is the humans, including Anna. There is nothing special about Anna. This side includes her and the 8 billion other humans in existence, or whatever at the time. On the other side is the spirits. The bridge is the one human spirit, Elsa. But anyway, Elsa is like, now that everything is fixed, I realized my place is here at the forest. She appoints Anna as the Queen of Arendelle, and Anna looks amazing. Like I said, green looks amazing on her. And the outfit is much more regal, as opposed to Elsa's coronation outfit where she looked like a doll. But yeah, this movie nails outfits. That was the big ol' summary, but I promise it was necessary to my process. Just before I get into fixing Frozen 2, I'm gonna address how I used to shout out every individual fan art and Moonsona in the previous videos, but I think there may be actually too many to do an individual script bit for each, so for now I will put them up on the screen as I speak, and I will try to actually get back to you on Tumblr or Instagram or wherever you posted it, rather than on here. I'll do the rest at the end. Let's get into fixing Frozen 2. First of all, let's tackle the reason why Frozen 2's plot was so weird. Did you know that the creators of Frozen 2 only figured out what the voice calling to Elsa was 8 months before the release of the movie? Arguably the first driving force of the movie, Elsa's mom's voice, and they figured it out 8 months before the release? That's why the songs are so vague, because nobody actually knew what they were writing about? Anyway, in the movie, Elsa and Anna are apparently in their very early 20s, and I'll be honest, because Elsa is voiced by the amazing singer Idina Menzel, who sounds more mature, I thought she was like 30 to 40, but you know, okay, fair enough. We start in the same place as the real movie, with the parents telling young Anna and Elsa the tale of Northuldra, the spirits, and the apparently random attack. We see a flashback of the kingdom of Arendelle before the grandpa built the dam in Northuldra, and it was notably in drastic poverty. But now, of course, after the dam, Arendelle is rich and thriving. But yeah, there is now an impenetrable fog that lets no one in or out of Northuldra Forest. Their mom, Iduna, sings the same lullaby about Atahallan, the river full of memory. Cut to Elsa on the balcony having trouble with her powers in private. They keep growing stronger and stronger. Inside of her, she wants to isolate and hide, but instead she tells Anna. But she then hears the voice, the call. Anna is like, "What's wrong, Elsa?" But Elsa hasn't fully broken from the habit of isolating herself, so she says nothing. Elsa and Anna talk about how both of them have been trapped in the castle for so long that they don't truly know themselves. What are their hobbies, their opinions about everything besides being a kind person? So they begin singing a happy, sort of comedic opening song where Anna and Elsa are trying out every hobby in Arendelle. Anna is really enjoying herself, but Elsa really isn't. Sometimes she accidentally freezes the activity with her powers. She's not taking to any hobby. Things would be shown like a montage throughout the song, like Kristoff teaching Elsa and Anna reindeer taming, and the townspeople teaching Elsa and Anna how to make shoes, or how to blacksmith, and all things like that. Anna loves it all, but nothing sticks with Elsa, especially not when her powers are growing wilder. At the end of the song, Elsa says she's leaving, but Anna's like, "Just wait, Elsa, you won't like anything just on the first try alone." But Elsa heads to the library and she asks the librarian about books regarding Northuldra and the spirits. She then goes and reads a lot about them, but she doesn't find anything about a voice that nobody else can hear. All she finds out is that if the spirits are displeased, They'll make the elements go wild. She racks through all the books trying to find anything on human spirits or half spirits, but still finds nothing. So this is where she starts singing a song like Into the Unknown, but this one is about how she doesn't know herself. It's a question of, who am I? Why do I have powers? Am I more than my powers, or am I just my powers? She then decides to go to Anna and tell her she's going to Northuldra to understand herself. Everything is fine for just up until Anna says, I'm going too. Suddenly, the earth starts rumbling, the waters start going wild, the fires go out, and the wind starts going crazy. Elsa's like, the spirits must be displeased at the idea of you coming with me. And Anna's like, well, too bad, I'm your sister and your best friend, I'm going with. Anna's concerned that whatever happens in the forest will pull them apart. But Elsa says, finding myself doesn't mean losing you. So they set off on the journey and they bring their mother's old scarf. However, their mother's old scarf in my rewrite is beige, like the Northuldran clothes. They get to the forest like in the movie and the fog parts for Elsa. The wind spirit attacks them, but in my rewrite, the wind spirit is not just leaves in the wind. The leaves are always moving, but they make up a reindeer. Elsa tries attacking it back with her ice powers, but it is a spirit and therefore it's more powerful than her. Kristoff, of course, knows reindeer, so he has an idea. He tells Elsa to try taming it like they practiced during the hobby montage. And that almost works, but of course she is less experienced than Kristoff, so she gets a bit scared and he takes care of it the rest of the way. Elsa's kind of impressed with herself for not dealing with something using her powers. So they've calmed the wind spirit just for now. It goes away. Next they find an abandoned town, but by abandoned I mean abandoned like 5 minutes ago. Just completely empty but fully functioning. It has both Arendelian and Northuldran buildings. All of a sudden, a fire catches on one of the houses. Elsa and Anna are too busy trying to put it out that they don't realize the houses are not actually burning under the fire. They seem to be built for this. Elsa is trying to blast the fire away with her ice powers, but it's from a spirit, so it's stronger than her. Her ice simply melts away. She then realizes they have to starve the source of the fire of oxygen, but it keeps bouncing around from house to house. The gang fetch a pot from one of the homes and catch the source eventually. Once they lift the pot, they see this little lizard, the fire spirit, and it's calm now. But then the people of Northuldra and Arendelle come out. But over the course of 34 years, the remaining people have come together as one tribe. Because seriously, in the real movie, 34 years have passed and they're still beefing even though the king isn't around? A lot of soldiers in real life find that they wouldn't be fighting the opposition if there wasn't someone telling them to, because they are just too scared humans, so that's what happened here. They see Elsa's scarf and realize that the Arendelian royal family is actually half Northuldran, but in this version, it doesn't like bring them together or anything because they are already together. They question how a human has powers, but they suppose it makes a bit more sense if she is half Northuldran. At night, Elsa is talking to one of the younger people, Honey Marin, who teaches her a bit of how to weave scarves, and Elsa enjoys it and talks about her past and how she was isolated all her life, so she never really figured out a hobby, but recently she's been able to experiment with her powers, even create an ice palace out of them. Honey Marin asks for a little demonstration. Anna wonders if that's even a good idea because sometimes Arendelle and the people can't handle Elsa's magic. But Honey Marin insists the forest is used to magic and their homes are built to withstand it to an extent, which is why the homes didn't burn under the magical fire. So Elsa has a go at a little ice show in her hands with everybody watching, and to her surprise, the Elder of the Northuldrans sits by her and can sort of manipulate it as well, like holding onto the ice magic. She's not doing magic herself, but she was alive before the spirits went hostile, so she knows how to use their magic too. The leader passes the magic to the next person in the circle, and it creates this loop of ice magic all the way back to Elsa. Even Anna and the Arendelians are involved. The tribe leader says, "It's been a long time since magic collaborated with us." Elsa asks why she might even have magic, and the tribe leader says that it must be for a reason that the spirits would give their power to a human, but she suggests Elsa goes to Atahallan, a river by the dark sea that is said to hold all the answers. All of a sudden, Elsa hears the voice, so she basically says, "By the way, I keep hearing this voice that goes like this." And the tribe people stare at her, like, why did you do that? People start hiding, and then boom, the wind starts picking up, the campfire starts picking up, and the earth starts rumbling, as something giant starts stepping towards them from far away. Elsa's like, what did I say? And Honey Marin's like, you just did the spirit call. That sound literally attracts spirits to your location, and all the spirits are currently hostile, which is why that sound has been banned. Then they all quiet down, and the Earth Giants, which I decided shouldn't be humanoid, they should be like rhinos, cause why would they be humans? They start making their way behind the area of the forest the people are in, and Elsa takes a small look at them. Elsa says, if that's the spirit call, how come only she can hear the one calling to her? And the leader guesses that it must be Ahtohallan calling to her, and if Elsa can hear the spirit call, then logically she must be a spirit. The next day, Anna and Elsa head off and discover their parents' shipwreck. They find an old map of where the parents were going, Ahtohallan, the river with all the answers. They wanted to find the source of Elsa's power. Elsa, of course, feels terribly guilty. She feels like a curse. In my rewrite, Anna doesn't just explain, no Elsa, you were a gift, because honestly, how could she possibly know that? Anna just says, it wasn't your fault. And then she's like, well, now we can go to Ahtohallan with this map, right? And Elsa's like, wrong, I can go to Ahtohallan. So she does the same thing where she sends Anna away on an ice boat, but Anna ends up in a cave by accident. The same thing happens where Elsa is trying to cross the dark sea but keeps failing. She's nearly drowned by the water spirit before she can tame it, with horse skills that she vaguely picked up during the hobby montage. But this time, she doesn't start singing Show Yourself. She goes inside Ahtohallan, which is not a river anymore but a glacier. She finds the truth about her grandfather. He built the dam to weaken the Northuldrans' water so they'd have to trade their goods with him in order to survive, which is basically the main reason Arendelle is no longer a poor country. Basically, Arendelle has only survived because it took advantage of the Northuldrans' goods back in the grandpa's day. The spirits only gifted Anna and Elsa's dad a half-spirit child so that one day the Queen of Arendelle would be its own undoing, like karma. Elsa was not a gift nor a curse, she was a strategy. Okay, she's a little bit of a curse. Elsa is a spirit specifically so that she'd be drawn by the spirit call from Ahtohallan. Like in the real movie, except Elsa is not frozen, Elsa sends the magical message to Anna about how the dam needs to be broken for the spirits to be calm, and upon doing that, she suddenly starts feeling cold. She's never felt cold before. She starts freezing. Her fingers, her cheeks, and her nose start turning really red. She tries using her powers, but realizes she doesn't have powers anymore. Maybe like in a Rapunzel way, her hair even starts turning brown like her mom's hair. Because she has no powers anymore, she is actually starting to freeze, like a regular human. But while freezing, this is where her Show Yourself-esque song comes in. But instead, it's an empowering song about how she is worthy and she should be given back her powers and be allowed to live, because she can do a lot more than break the dam. She can do more than just solve the past. She can build the future. But Ahtohallan doesn't listen to her and she dies, freezing to death, like a normal human. The message, however, is still sent to Anna, and she resolves to break the dam even if it means Arendelle is destroyed, because Arendelle's wealth was built on hurting the Northuldrans, and also the spirits will never calm down if the dam still stands. But then Olaf starts to melt, and Anna realizes Elsa is gone. Like in the movie, Anna sings a sad song about how she doesn't know what to do, but will do whatever is necessary. And then she uses the spirit call to call the Earth Giants to the dam. They get angry and start ramming into it, finally bringing it down. The tide surges towards Arendelle, which was evacuated already, and destroys most of it. But then, Ahtohallan actually revives Elsa and gives her powers back, since Anna actually chose righting the wrongs and broke the dam instead of just saving Arendelle. When this happens, Elsa is actually granted her 5th spirit dress and returns to Anna. Elsa decides she is too powerful for Arendelle, whereas Northuldra was built for magic. And also, Elsa decides she wants to work under the tribe leader of Northuldra to help rebuild Northuldra's resources and be a bridge between humanity and spirits, as she is a human spirit. Also, she teaches the newer, younger Northuldrans how to work with magic again. She'll be a medium between them, basically, working in the forest, not just running around and doing whatever she likes like she is in the movie. That means Anna becomes Queen of Arendelle, but now that Arendelle can no longer benefit from what the grandfather did to the Northuldrans, they need to figure out a new way to rebuild their economy. So Anna teaches the Arendellians how to work alongside nature and the spirits rather than against them. She teaches them the spirit call as well. Everyone is united and now no one is benefiting off of corruption, and Elsa is finally getting to discover who she is. The end. So there is my rewrite. What did you think? Do you disagree with any of it? And what would you do with Frozen 2? And I'll show the remaining fan art. Like I said, I can't do a personal bit for each fan art, so they should be on screen. I admit I'm having some problems with fan art because everyone is sending their fan art in different places and I lose track. I think from now on people should put on hashtag Elmushterri fan art so I can actually easily find the fan art, and make sure you're getting the spelling of my name correct so that I can actually find it, rather than sending it to me on asks for Tumblr, because they easily get lost there. Oh, and do make sure to mention or tag me if you you enjoyed the video, consider joining my orbit. If not, then